Okay, so today we're going to talk about Google Forms. And normally we divide up between Google Beginner and Advanced. But with Forms, everybody I think could use a good basic refresher on it. We're covering Forms because we think that there's so many different things you can use it for. And so we want you to get experience with it and create your own that you can use in your classroom in the next month. Okay? So if you look at, I gave everyone a handout here, and this handout looks a little crazy, I know, but if we kind of go through each of those things, we'll go through that just so you can kind of see all the different steps and things that are in it. But before I do that, I wanted to direct your attention again to, minimize this here for a second, to Moodle here again. Remember, we can get to Moodle by going to the Kemper website. Hold on, I'm trying to get this out of the way here. Go to the Kemper website and then, sorry, it's just kind of in my way. Here we go. Remember, it's on the Kemper website, and if you go down to Teacher PD 2014-15, and then you put in the passcode, which is nights, and then you click either, for our purposes, we're going to click online skills and integration. That's for the 2-hour early dismissal one. That should bring you to the Moodle where you need to log in with, we practiced doing that last time. Log in with your username, and could be your username or your email. What did you guys, username? Is that what you're typing in?
Mine just logged in and didn't have enough space to do that. So it's
just the username. Yeah, that's what I did too. It's just MJ Trent. And then if you look then, click the Kemper and then professional development and then the PD 2014-15. In this course then, there is an exit slip. Remember at your third session, just like last one, there'll be an exit slip for you to fill out. Click on today's date, which is October 8th. And then once you get in there at the end, you click add new discussion topic. There are 3 questions for you to answer there. Also back in Moodle, we're under Google Basics and Google Advanced, and when I click on those tabs, notice that we have the recordings posted from the previous 2-hour early dismissal sessions, and today, here is our session for today. We're talking about Google Forms, submission, and analyzing them. So that's kind of what we're at today. The video I'm recording today, I'll post right underneath here for future references also. I'll probably put it under Google Advanced as well, since we're covering both for Google Advanced and Basics. So that's where you'll find those. Okay, so let's go right into Google Drive, everybody. So if you just go to google.com and click on Drive. And once you get there, we're going to click the Create button. And I'm going to kind of just show you, talk about some form stuff. You can click on it too if you'd like with me, but I'm just going to go through all the ins and outs of a form. So I'm going to go create and form. Okay? Pardon me? The Drive, if you're in any Google area, remember those 9 dots that are at the top right-hand corner? If you click that 9 dot and click Drive, got it? Okay. And then go under Create and then Form. And then this comes up. So one of the first things, if you kind of look at all of the notes on your sheet, you feel free to write on this. This is your handout to take with you. One of the first things I like to do is give it a name. So this one, I'm just going to go ahead and put in here email addresses. One of the nice things you can do with forms, especially with all your students, is a quick, easy way to capture all of their email addresses. And it puts all of their responses then nicely into a spreadsheet for you to access later. That way you can copy and paste it later, put it in different things. So this is a nice way to kind of get used to using a form. Notice at the very top here, there's some options here. Require the Kemper Catholic login to view this form. I usually uncheck that. It's just one of those things. Yes, you could, knock it down so only so many people see it. But then when you do that, then say you want to share it with somebody else and they're not in the Kemper system or whatever, then you kind of have to go back in and change it. So it's really not that big a deal. But I like to uncheck all of those things at the top.
So it's like a survey or a poll.
Right. You can use this as a quiz, a survey, a poll. You can gather information, check for understanding, quizzes. Some use it for tests as well. And so then if you look then down the next part here, it says question title. Mr. Horton, you are in, not this room, you are in the computer lab.
Okay.
Computer lab,
I
sir.
thought it was.
Nope. Computer lab, then here. Okay, so here where it says, oh, by the way, form description, it's kind of nice here if you type directions here. Directions to the form. So like, for instance, you want to say, please fill this out. You can put a due date there or any of those kinds of things. And then your question title, like the very first one probably, and this is one, when you start creating forms, you forget about this one all the time. But what should the first one be? Name. Yes. I can't tell you how many forms I've sent out when I first started doing this, and I didn't know who was submitting what because I forgot to include name. Okay, so, and obviously it's not multiple choice because we don't think kids should have a multiple choice for choosing their name. So when you click this right here, this arrow here by multiple choice, you can then choose you want text. Text is about long enough for a name. Notice that paragraph text is another option. That just sounds like what it says. If you want them to be able to type more than one line, you basically want paragraph text. There's multiple choice as an option. In multiple choice, you can choose, they have to choose one answer. They can't choose several answers. Also in multiple choice, if you notice that's already defaulted, when you use multiple choice, you see right here it says go to page based on answer. That's really nice because what you can do is, let's say you're asking a question, yes or no. Do you have internet at home? Yes or no? Yes, you do. Or let's say that I click no, I don't. So then you can take them to another page and say, are there some places that, please list the places that you could have internet access. And then they can go through and then they can get back on track again. So it's nice and that you can do that, go to another page, but multiple choice is the only one that offers that option. That whatever your answer is, you can go to another page based on that answer, okay? Other options, the checkbox is really nice too. This means that you can check more than one, okay? Multiple choice, only one, checkbox more than one. Choose from a list, you can give them a list of options that will drop down and they can choose from it. Scale is really nice too, so like on a scale of 1 to 5, and you can say, best thing I ever saw was number 5, worst thing I ever did is number 1. And then they can, it's a scale, and it's numbers 1 through 5. You can also change that numbers to, it doesn't have to be 1 through 5, it can be more than that. Grid, that one I've never used, and it's just kind of puts a grid on there that you can choose from different plots from, I believe. That one we'll have to explore with, I'm not sure. That might be more mathy stuff, so maybe you math people might want to check that out. Date, you can put a specific date, that's kind of the date format that they can choose from, and time. Okay, so those are just different times. So for our purposes, for name, we just want text, okay? And this is kind of what it's going to look like. And here's another thing too, this required question. I'm going to check that because what that means is that whenever you check that required question, it's saying they have to put something in there in order for it to submit. So you're forcing them to answer it. Now be careful when you're doing that though. If you are doing a multiple choice type of thing, you kind of always want to read it again and say, okay, should I also include none of the above? Because there's many times where you have an option that they need to choose from, and maybe none of those options fit them, especially if it's a survey or something. And so maybe you want to put none of the above, or other is an option, and other would give them a box that they could type in their other option. But keep that in mind too, that when you make it required, make sure it's going to apply to everybody. Everyone, I want their name, so that one I know it's fine. Then I can click done, because I'm done with that, so that's what it's going to look like, okay? Then add item right here. These, again, are the different types of things I can add in here. You can also add picture, images, and videos right in here. You can also add a page break. That page break is nice if you want them to go to another page in that multiple choice. You put a page break in, it takes them to another page. That's where you put that question, that follow-up question. But for this, again, I want them to put an email address, so I'm going to close the text box again, and I'm going to say, what is your email address? And you could say school email address or personal, whatever. Again, I want that required, and I'm going to click done. Now, at this point, I could be pretty much done. All I want is a student's name and the email address. But there's some more options up at the top here. Look up at the top, going across here. I can change the theme. So
it's creating it for you while you
it is. It's creating as
it all at the end.
Right. It's creating it as I go, step by step. So as I choose the theme, there are several. There are newer ones that they've just put out recently. So you can go through and look at these and see what applies. And I'm just going to choose a simple pink one here. And when I click it, it changes it, which is nice because you can see the difference that it's going to make. Okay, when you put that in. Okay. And so that's what it's going to look like when it's live. Now, if I want to go back in and say, oops, I spelled something wrong here, I click Edit Questions right here. And then it takes me back to where I was. And notice as I mouse over these, what do you see that's appearing over the right? Menus, right. This pencil means you want to go back in and edit. So I can click that and I can go back in and change something. If I want to, this one is to copy or duplicate that question. So for some reason, you might want to duplicate copy. And this is to delete a question, okay? The other thing then too is as we're going across the top, view responses, I'll get to that in a little bit, but right here, view live form. I click this when I'm done, just so I can see what it's going to look like. And then, so this is what my simple little form is going to look like, so that's what my recipients will see. Now this right here, this link here, that is what I copy and paste to send the form out, okay? You can, over here back in the, when we go back to edit the form, there's something that says send form. You can send it that way too. Sometimes it's kind of acts quirky, but I can tell you one thing, you copy and paste this link, it works 100% of the time. Some of those others, for some reason, it doesn't always work. So this is the one I stick with all the time. So if I right click on that and copy, and I can go back to edit form where I was. And now I'm going to open up my email and I'm going to send that out to you. Okay, so I'm going to click compose and we have Adina, we have Colleen right there too. Let's try that again. There you are, and Sarah. Okay, I'm going to say form. Not from, form. Oh, and Jenna, thank you. You didn't want to be, oh, I don't want to disclose you. Oops, I can't spell anything today. Do you notice that? There you are. I know. So I could copy, I could just paste that in, right click and paste. One of the things I like though about this instead is I'd rather type the word link, or I could say survey or something like that. I'm going to highlight that in email, and then down here is insert link. So then I can control V as copy, or I could right click paste too. That way, when I click OK, it's a little neater. Do you see that in the email? Instead of that big long address, it's kind of nice for the recipient. So I'm going to click send deal, and we're going to have you take a look at that. So now you should check your email. Go ahead and enter, go ahead and fill that out, that survey. And as you do, I'm going to click View Responses. Notice that it automatically makes your form into a spreadsheet, so it can collect your responses. And you can see it coming in live as it's going. So go ahead and click that, enter it, and we'll see those coming in live. Notice it has a timestamp already on there too, which is kind of nice. So you can see what time students are working on your things when they're submitting it, if that matters to you or not. Maybe you have an assignment that's due and you need it to be up by a certain time. That's nice to have the timestamp in there. Has anybody submit anything yet? Oh, there's one. Colleen's in there already. Do you see that? So her name came in and her address. And what's really great about this now, think about quizzes. Okay, all of your answers get plopped in here. And we'll do another mini lesson if you're interested in on how to show how to grade these. you can set up scripts in here that it automatically grades these as they come in as well. So that's great for a quiz. Not only do you get it really quick and nice in a hurry, but then it can grade it for you too. Interesting name.
Thank you. I'm like, I didn't type that. It's
You know-
not a Jenna short for
Genevieve, that's
Oh,
interesting.
because my last part came
Yep,
and was it something I'm like,
that's her biblical name. That's funny. So, but do you see how nice that comes in? And both of these things are saved in my Google Drive. The original form I created and the response. This response one is automatically created when you do a form. Okay? So, now what I want,
save it like in a folder together.
and not in a folder, it'll put in your recent. You can move it then to a folder.
Okay.
Yeah, you can move it to a folder then. So what I want you guys to do now is in your email that I sent earlier today, there's a form that I want you to kind of play with a form first, create your own, and then the rest of the time too, go back in your email because I sent you an exit slip for just this session that says, how do you see yourself using forms in the next month? I want you to fill out that for me and I'll pull that in too. So this is kind of a work time now for you to create a form, play with it some more, and then also go ahead and answer the exit slip. Any questions on that? Okay, I'm going to stop recording there.